Good evening, my fellow Americans. This is your president speaking, Samuel Ronan. And today is Recap Thursday. And as always, there is always quite a lot going on. In fact, today alone has been jam-packed with news that is quite literally groundbreaking. The DOJ is talking to Ghislaine, I don't actually know how to say her name, pedophile Maxwell, Epstein's Maxwell, I don't fucking know. Spoke to her not a couple hours ago. South Park aired one of the most blistering and scathing satires of, well, anyone, but least of all a sitting president in its history as a rebuke to the bribe Paramount gave to Trump by canceling the Colbert Show. Or, I'm sorry, the Late Night Show. And the list literally goes on. I don't know that we'll necessarily be talking about it, but St. Louis Public Schools is closing 37 schools. Or is it 31? It's over 30 schools because of the displaced children from the tornadoes. Meanwhile, their police precincts and their police funding remains unchanged. Why does America hate education so vehemently? So, with all of these things being said, we are going to get into it. It turns out that I need to be better at being a streamer. We actually kept getting copyright strikes because I'll actually sit there and watch the video with you guys because I'm either A, entranced in the content of what is being discussed, B, trying to be respectful to the presentation, the person giving the information, or C, the topic is so profound that for me to pause and interject my opinion would detract from the discussion. And maybe that's my fault for trying to be too respectful on the internet while I am trying to be the presenter. But suffice to say, Ghislaine. Okay. Thank you for that. Honestly, thank you, because I like to think I'm good at pronouncing things, but sometimes I'm not. And hello, Ana de la Diosa. But all of that to say, I am working on things. I am trying to get better. I'm also starting to practice speaking from my diaphragm so that my little throat doesn't get hurt from all this nonsense. I also forgot to update the stream title. So I don't know what I'm gonna just write Ghislaine. Gets interviewed by DOJ, South Park, trolls Trump, Bigley, and what's another major thing that happened today? I haven't actually looked at the what do we got? First known death. I thought we've had way more confirmed deaths than that. But ICE confirmed deaths in camps. We'll just go 1939. Because, you know, it makes too much sense that we are acting like Nazi Germany. Anyway, so I updated that. Holy shit, we got 6 people starting up. I guess y'all are getting used to showing up here. All right, well, fuck. I will stop bantering and let's get into it. During an actual ICE raid. I thought we've had fatalities during ICE raids as well. But again, that's right, Obama scandal. Can't forget the Obama scandal. Well, let's start with that. Fuck it. I mean, A, it's on the top of the list, but B,
so if I turn out beta tomorrow,
we haven't had any scathing commentary on Obama.
The Department of Justice has confirmed it received the criminal referral on stunning claims Obama administration officials manufactured and politicized intelligence about false Russian collusion in the 2016 presidential election. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard released a declassified report containing more than 100 pages of...
In the interest of being more interruptive during these videos, Tulsi fucking Gabbard, folks. I am going to be really honest with you guys here. I used to be Tulsi Gabbard stan #1. She was young, she was attractive, she was in the military, she had poise, she had charisma, she stood up for Bernie Sanders, she led from the fucking front. What the fuck happened? What the fuck happened. She was a living, breathing embodiment of actual Wonder Woman. She made Gal Gadot look like paltry in comparison in that role. What the fuck happened, Tulsi? Like, why did you sell your soul? Were you always this way? And as it turns out from people that have worked with her, she's always been this way. She's always been an opportunistic piece of garbage. She wants power. She craves authority. And that is one of the most heartbreaking things I ever found out about somebody I actually liked. If it turns out Tammy Duckworth is also a traitor, I will literally cry. Because Tammy is the last line of defense, and she's not even that based. But she does at least stand her ground, and she at least has a spine worth mentioning. So, Tulsi Gabbard, folks, one of the biggest disappointments in political history, honestly. And that's including the fact that Bernie Sanders is pro-Israel. Tammy's just a shit lib. That's, I can live with that. But it's just really fucking depressing how far Tulsi has fallen. Which, granted, it is her modus operandi. That is who she is. But yeah, anyway, sorry, getting a little...
Emails, memos, and internal communications. And joining us this morning to discuss is the former head of the Chicago PD and 23-year veteran of the FBI as a special agent in charge, Jody Weeks. Good morning to you, Jody.
He looks like he was an FBI agent.
Gabbard claims these documents show former President Obama directed John Brennan, James Comey, Susan Rice, James Clapper, among others, to produce manufactured intelligence to undermine President Trump after he was elected. Just from your experience and your years in the FBI, what were your thoughts when you heard about this, especially that it affected some of the top leaders of the intelligence community?
Jan, without a doubt, if this is true, this is the biggest political scandal in my lifetime. Let's think about this.
How is this the biggest scandal of your lifetime when Trump is literally in office? Trump literally is undermining the Constitution every single day. Trump literally is violating the checks and balances of the three branches of government. Trump literally created a Gestapo police force. Trump ordered illegally the military, active duty, to go into another state and terrorize people. His administration is actively terrorizing an entire demographic, which contrives 20% of the population. Like, what? How is Obama, even if he did it, which I don't at this point care. I mean, if he did it, that's bad, and hold him accountable, but I don't care because he's already a war criminal. He's already a war criminal. He's already going to The Hague once I take over. Like, this isn't, I mean, fine, let's add a couple things. But to say that this is the biggest scandal in American history, the biggest political scandal in American history, are you fucking serious? Trump is in the Epstein files. That's a lot worse than a blowjob and infinitely worse than manufactured whatever against Trump. Are you shitting me?
You have a sitting president of the United States who directs a team to fabricate an intel assessment showing that the Russians were involved in the 2016 election, trying to influence it to favor Donald Trump. Now, that assessment apparently contradicted assessments before and after the election, saying that it was a very low probability that Russia had actually interfered in the election. And why was this done? To undermine an incoming president. You know, Jan,
I'm pretty fucking certain the National News Desk is a right-wing sludge thing. I can't take this seriously. There's no fucking way. WLOS News 13 is this a local news? There's no fucking way. No, because today's top local and national news, WLOS.com, serves the Asheville, North Carolina area and the rest of Western North Carolina and upstate South Carolina. Yeah, there's no way. This is not serious. It is local news, but this is the most biased local news I have ever seen in my fucking life. No, we're not even going to finish watching this. This isn't serious. This is not serious. The greatest scandal in American history, not the Civil War, not Andrew Jackson ignoring the Supreme Court and initiating the Trail of Tears, not the Vietnam War, not Watergate, which, okay, I guess at this point Watergate really isn't a big scandal compared to everything else. The Tulsa massacre, right? When the police bombed Tulsa, Oklahoma, the predominantly black neighborhood there, right? Or even, I don't know, decimating Black Wall Street and replacing it with Central Park and New York. Never fucking mind tanking the entire global economy due to tariffs that were racially biased and from a fucking AI. How about creating an entire department out of thin air without congressional approval and then putting the wealthiest person who is also a Nazi in charge of it to then allow that person to steal our Social Security information and Treasury Department information? By the way, that shit still happened and that's still impacting us. I know so much shit has happened since then. People have probably forgotten, but the reality is this administration has violated the Constitution and gone against the norms in so many ways that it beggars the imagination, and has done so on a weekly fucking basis. Weekly. You want to know how I know it's been weekly? Because we are literally discussing it week after week after week. The new atrocity, the new war crime, the new crime against humanity. You've got to be fucking kidding me. It's a local ABC affiliate. I guess they're really, really trying to suck on the fucking boot. Unbelievable.
All right, this feels almost illegal to know, but our windows were so old and just desperately needed to be
New this morning, chaos and confusion within the New Jersey U.S. Attorney's Office. The interim U.S. Attorney, Alina Habba, was removed on Tuesday after federal judges declined to extend her interim appointment. Then the U.S. Justice Department fired her successor. CNN senior justice correspondent Evan Perez is here with me in the situation.
I'm not going to lie. This story confused me a little bit when I saw it, when I read about it at first. It's like, so wait, they removed somebody and then fired her? That doesn't make any sense. But they're talking about removing her, which is a Trump ally, and then fired the person that replaces her. And now they're putting a Trump out. This is a little too confusing for me, I guess, right off the rip, the way that's being described. There are two more bits about this towards the bottom of the list about the Russiagate thing. Well, at this point, I just feel like they're trying to drum up bullshit. We can watch it if we run out of time or have extra time at the end.
Tell us more about the Justice Department's response.
Well, this is all because Alina Habba's interim appointment, which was for 120 days, was expiring this week, Wolf, and the judges there under federal law are required to either reappoint her, or they can find someone else to serve in that position. In this case, they appointed Desiree Grace, who's the first assistant in the office. She's someone that Alina Habba actually elevated to that position. And once the judges did that, the Justice Department reacted very swiftly. Just within really minutes, the Attorney General Pam Bondi fired Grace, and she put out this statement. She said, politically minded judges refused to allow Alina Habba to continue in her position, replacing Alina with her assistant. The Department of Justice does not tolerate rogue judges, especially when they threaten the president's core Article 2 powers. Now, to be clear, this is not a usurpation of the president's Article 2 powers.
I mean, that goes without saying. That bitch has not said anything intelligent. Honestly, how can you be the Attorney General of the United States of America and not even understand the Constitution? At that point, you may as well just put me in there, or Anna, or Tylo, or I don't know who else is fucking watching right now. Like, you may as well put just this motherfucker talking. Because evidently, if the head judge doesn't even understand the Constitution, then clearly it doesn't fucking matter who's in the office as long as the seat's being kept warm. We could put fucking Anna's daughter in the chair, if all it needs to do is be kept warm. And honestly, I believe Anna's daughter would have a more objective approach to justice and criminal justice reform as a fucking 9-year-old than these fascist swine. Right, they have the most ignorant people. Like, again, I am confident in my ability to lead the country, right? But to be clear, I am nobody. I am Nemo. I'm talking Odysseus stabbing the Cyclops in the eye in a cave and giving him the name Nemo. I am no one, right? That is my name, no one. And then when he stabs the Cyclops in the eye, the Cyclops says, Nemo did this to me. And the Cyclops are like, well, that sucks, brother. And the Cyclops says, but Nemo did this to me. And like, we heard you the first time. I am nobody, okay? I don't have a big fancy degree. I have an associate's degree. I could get a second associate's degree in HR. Ooh. What I have is 2 brain cells and maybe 3 neurons between them, and on a good day, all right? And the ability to critically think, which is apparently stronger than 60% of all ChatGPT users, and clearly anyone in this administration. Leadership is logical. It's logical and it's empathetic, right? It's empathy. It's empathy. Okay. Here's the rub. We are at war. We have economic crises. People can't eat, sleep, drink, afford food, water, shelter, electricity, internet, fuel for their vehicles, generally, childcare, blah, 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 right? Oh, everything's falling apart. So what do you do as the president of the United States of America? Well, let's find some experts. How about the people profiting off of the misery? No. Wait. If they're profiting off of the misery, then they're not going to help reduce the misery. You're right. My bad. Mea culpa. See how I keep throwing in that Latin in there? I'm a bit of a nerd. Sorry. So, okay, fine. This guy's profiting off of the misery. He owns absolute fuck-ton rental units and residential property and renting them out. Okay, so we don't want them in charge of AHHS. How about this lady who is an anthropologist? For the past 40 years, worked for the United Nations and several other major organizations of that caliber. Maybe the anthropologist who studies culture and human interaction, she might be a decent pick. All right. Well, we'll put her on the short list. Oh, a psychologist who deals with the homeless and the elderly and the disenfranchised? Has been doing it for 40 years. Multiple awards. Okay, put her. She might be number 1. Sweet. You know, let's get both of them involved. The one that's been the sociologist or psychologist, whichever one I just said, she'll be in charge, and the anthropologist will help. Because they have a vested interest in solving the fucking problem. Notice how I just found the people capable of doing the work. Notice how I wasn't like, well, I have a plan. And that plan is to go take a huge stinky shit on everybody for my own personal benefit and then lie about it to the American people. Notice how I didn't do that. Notice how I also didn't say, well, according to my calculations, I believe if we are going to resolve these particular issues that we should ex facto post sum exo magnum patronum, we should then go to the ipso magnum et filio et spiritus sancti et nomine patri. Right? I didn't say any of that shit either, did I? I didn't speak down to you. I didn't come up with a bunch of jargon and a bunch of technical words. I just made up a bunch of fake Latin and real Latin in there, right? I have ideas. It's called adjusting the taxes so that working class people don't pay taxes, and the tax burden is on the people who can afford it. Making housing public. Recapturing housing, residential property from multi-billion-dollar corporations. And, making it illegal to be a landlord, because we can be really fucking petty in the interpretation of the Constitution and say, well, we do not adhere to lords and titles of nobility. Well, a landlord might not be an official title of nobility, but lord's in the name. So you know what? That's close enough to me for my comfort. No landlords. If you want to own multiple property, you have to prove that you or your next of kin are living in it. Oh, wages? Cool. Raise them. Well, what about the billionaires? Guess what? They're getting taxed into non-existence. Well, that's not fair. Neither is 60% of the fucking population living in poverty. Right? It's not like I don't have ideas or suggestions or policies that could be put in place to address poverty in America. I do. Sam.Ronan /issue or Sam.Ronan. No. Why do I not know my own fucking domain? Wow, can I talk today? Guess not. SamRonan.com/issues. That's all you need to know, folks. SamRonan.com/issues. And I have all sorts of economic issues that are in alphabetical order. Okay? This isn't rocket science, folks. This is, what would help poor people not be poor? Being able to afford food, shelter, and transportation. So you know what you do? You do policies and put people in place in the departments that govern those policies or oversee those policies to enact and enable and empower and improve upon those policies. Because my ideas might be great on paper, might not be great in execution. So how does it work best in execution? All right, this is how it is. Great. Let's do that then. As long as the end result is people can afford to live and that 60% of people in poverty is reduced to goose egg, then I have done my fucking job. But we have fucking the worst people, the absolute worst and least qualified folks in every single department in the cabinet. And that is insane to me. I'm officially tired of all the winning. Right. Hiring only the best. Yeah. The best that are the worst. Like the worst best people, I guess. Something like that. Kick the corporations out of our homes. I mean, kick them out of our lives. Get them out of politics. The Citizens United needs to be struck down, and every justice that supported it needs to be put in prison. Period. Dot. Mr. President, Thailand and Cambodia attack each other at the border now. Please check. Anna, can you... Oh, good. Never mind. And thank you, Anna, for knowing my website better than me. Shit. So yeah, just straight up wild. Just wild. Anyway, what were we talking about? This.
He still has those powers. He just needs Congress to approve Alina Habba, which hasn't happened. The Senate, which Republicans control, has not approved Alina Habba or really any other U.S. attorney in the United States. And so that's what the problem is. For some reason, the Justice Department has...
Wait a minute. There's a separation of powers and Trump can't just lead unilaterally on his own authority? What? It's almost as if that's in the fucking Constitution or something.
To make this a clash with rogue judges, but really it's more about the...
And what's her qualifications? Being a D-cup? Like, that was a really sexist comment of me. I apologize. But honestly, if Pam Bondi doesn't know the Constitution and she's your typical busty blonde, this lady is a little bit more tan and brunette. So is that the qualifications? Putting conventionally attractive women into positions of authority that also drink the fucking Kool-Aid? Like, what are we fucking doing here?
Administration not being able to work with congressional Republicans to get
one of
their
his lawyers, there it is,
approved by the Senate, which is what is constitutionally required.
Alina Habba was a former personal attorney for then candidate Trump, for a private citizen Trump, I should say.
Right. She was a spokesperson.
The thought was she couldn't get confirmed by the Republican-led Senate.
They haven't been able to confirm her yet, and there is a very slow-growing process for all of these U.S. attorney picks that the president appointed or nominated, rather.
All right. Thanks very much, Evan Perez. Appreciate it very much.
I guess that clears that up, though. She didn't get extended, and Congress isn't approving her appointment, which is crazy to me because Congress has been playing every single dirty hand that they could to get this agenda off the ground, but they're not going to let this lady become a judge. She must be really bad at her job. Well, she's a lawyer. Isn't that the only qualification you need to be a judge, is to be a lawyer? I mean, ideally it would also to be neutral, but hey, that hasn't stopped, ultra-conservative appointees in the past, right?
Do you have a car? And do you have a clean driving record? Did
I
you
do
know
not.
You could pay as...
So, some fucking good news. Breonna Taylor, former Kentucky police officer, sentenced... Oh, I thought that was 33 years. Are you fucking kidding me? This piece of shit kicks down Breonna Taylor's house, threatens her boyfriend, kills her in her fucking sleep, lies about it for several years, and then gets less than 3 years in prison. I hope he gets everything he deserves in prison.
Breonna Taylor's family and lawyers welcome the sentence 5 years after she was gunned down by police during a botched raid.
This man murdered her 5 years ago. He has been free for her murder longer than he will be in prison. Are you fucking kidding me? That's despicable.
For the judge for giving some time, because we could have walked away with nothing according to what they recommended.
The U.S. District Court judge rebuffed a Department of Justice recommendation that former police officer Brent Hankinson be sentenced to time served, which would have meant him being in prison for 1 day. Judge Rebecca Grady Jennings...
Wait a minute. What? What? Excuse me? Did I just hear that this man was a nanometer from serving 1 whole fucking day in jail? So, he hasn't... Hold on.
District Court judge rebuffed a Department of Justice recommendation that former police officer Brent Hankinson be sentenced to time served, which would have meant him being in prison for 1 day. Judge Rebecca Grady Jennings was appointed by President Trump in his first term.
We thank the judge for her attention to detail and for setting the record straight that he was convicted of depriving Breonna Taylor of her civil rights, Fourth Amendment seizure, and that is a crime that we acknowledge in America that you go to prison for.
Earlier.
So wait a second. Did this Brett Hankinson guy serve some jail time prior to this? That's fucking insane. That's fucking insane. Like, can you Google that real quick, Anna? While we're still in this video, can you find out what amount of time he did, sir? I mean, clearly it sounds like he served 33 months already, but when and how and why?
A small group of demonstrators who attempted to block traffic were forcibly moved by police. At least 4 people were arrested. The protesters were angered not only by the Department of Justice recommendation in this case, but also by its decision to end an ongoing investigation into the Louisville Police Department, part of...
This story, this video, is 2 minutes and 26 seconds long, and it gets worse. Every single word that comes out of this narrator's mouth. What the fuck?
What many here see as a nationwide campaign by President Trump's administration to undermine the protection of civil rights and strike fear into those who resist. The relatively small number of demonstrators here indicates the campaign may be working. Among the few protesters here was a young girl shouting at police. Her mother came up to her and said, "You are only 16, they are going to put you in jail," and they left. This highlights the impact of the massive crackdown on civil rights protections by this administration, and the massive protests that one saw in the wake of the killings of Breonna Taylor and others are now just a distant memory. Mike Hanna, Al Jazeera, Louisville, Kentucky.
Meanwhile, charges against the 2 police officers who killed Taylor, Joshua Janes, and Kyle Meany were dropped last August. Well, fun fact, in the criminal justice system, dun dun, if the criminal justice system itself, i.e. the judges, the prosecutors, the so on and the so forth, are all in collusion, i.e. corruption, i.e. deliberately trying to cause, mistrials or injustice or not ruling in the way the law should be interpreted, etc. et alia ad nauseum, not only can those pieces of garbage go to prison for their crimes, which that would be, but all of those rulings can be then overturned and retried accordingly. Now, I've said at least, that as president, especially in the current political climate, the likelihood of me being a traditional democratically elected president with all of the traditional democratic fun stuff like the West Wing is out the fucking window. We are well into the House of Cards type of political bullshit, right? Plus, we are goose stepping. We are literally a fascist state at this point. It remains to be seen if this starts getting clawed back now that Trump seems to be getting pushed out and being undermined now. Thank God. I mean, it took 6 months, but hey, better late than never, especially when it comes to fascism. But to me, it feels like this is only going to continue to digress. It took Hitler 53 days. It's taking the Trump administration 6 months and counting. Thank God it's taking this long. But it's still progressing. And the elements that aren't being curtailed are the secret police brutality, or, and as we are seeing, the abuse of power by the criminal justice system, right? So they might get rid of Trump, but it does not seem as though they're going to get rid of the fascism itself. That being said, as president, I will make it my one. This is the problem too. I will make it a priority. Well, everything that's happening right now is a priority to overturn. It is a priority to dismantle ICE, send them to The Hague, and then watch them hang on international television and throughout the 50 continental states. Definitely a priority. It's also a priority to sever diplomatic relations with Israel for the same reason. And for the same reason, to criminally prosecute, charge, and arrest every entity, both elected and in the private sector, who has aided and abetted this administration, and to do the same thing, send them on international television and throughout the 50 states. We also have to address the economy. We have to address climate change. We have to address this, that, and the other thing. But we can also address criminal injustice. And those are all priorities for me. So we will be absolutely flooding the media and the executive branch with executive orders, legislative maneuvering, etc. et alia ad nauseum until we get all this shit taken care of, because that is how fucked up and insane everything that's happening right now in just 6 months is. And we have another 3.5 years of this bullshit. Yeah. We are struggling. Brett Hankinson fired 10 shots but didn't hit anyone. Okay. And some of the people who did do the killing or the shooting or the hurting, they got their cases dismissed. And as we just saw or talked about, I think you said further up there, they dismissed the case back in August of last year, since it's obviously not August yet. If the Supreme Court does retire in 2028, well, that's the thing. The Supreme Court doesn't actually ever really retire. So Brett is serving 33 days or months. He was sentenced to 33 months. He's going to only serve 33 days of those 33 months? Because that's also insane. Okay. Wild. We're going to need to fill our staff about as quickly as we are needing to build our platform, like the social media part of it. Tulsi definitely wants people to agree with her about her findings. Yeah, because she has sold out in the worst way possible.
Don't settle for less. Here's what others are doing to fix missing and broken teeth. The company everyone has...
All right. Dental care, though. Why do we treat dental care as luxury bones? Why is this not just wrapped into healthcare? Why do I have to pay extra for dental care? And why is it still so fucking expensive? Again, universal healthcare solves all of these problems. I'm sick of this shit. I have a chipped tooth as well. But you know how expensive it is to get that shit fixed? No, thank you.
Has been raving about.
Welcome back. A farm worker who suffered serious injuries following an ICE raid at a Ventura County farm has died. That's according to his family. Jaime Alanis is the first report.
Jesus fucking Christ. That's not accidentally hitting Grandpa in the head with a baton and him hitting the ground, which we've also seen in protests. This man looks like he got hit by a fucking truck, according to his family. Yeah, no, this is insane. This is a hate crime being covered up as collateral damage from a fucking Nazi raid.
Reported death linked to a Trump immigration raid. United Farm Workers says that he fell from a greenhouse roof during Thursday's operation. And today, Senator Alex Padilla and border czar Tom Homan responded.
Because of these artificial quotas established by, whether it's Donald Trump or Stephen Miller or somebody in the administration, it's causing ICE to get more aggressive, more cruel, more extreme. And these are the results. It's people dying.
ICE did not have hands on this person, but it's always unfortunate when there's deaths.
DHS says agents arrested around 200 people during the raids at 2 California marijuana farms. They also identified at least 10 immigrant children on the sites.
Some state Democrats.
I can't stand. I literally cannot. This. I have German heritage. I went to high school in America. I learned about our whitewashed history in World War II, where the Nazis were unequivocally the bad guys and America were unequivocally the good guys. And I distinctly remember saying, if I were alive in Nazi Germany, just like me and all of the other 28 students, whatever the fuck they were, we all agreed unanimously, emphatically, we would have punched Nazis, we would have punched Hitler, we would have been a part of the resistance, XYZ, etc. Out of everybody that I graduated with, which is around 400 people, I can count on one fucking hand. One fucking hand. How many of those graduating students, 1%, are actively, vocally, and participatingly against this administration, ICE, and all this other horseshit? It's bad enough that I have the Holocaust and Nazism in my heritage from, being German, right? It's bad enough, right? That is bad enough. I want to be very, very proud of Germany, just like everybody can be proud of Spain or France or England or Ireland or Scotland. Or, people are less proud of Ruskvia in America, but that's not the point. The point is, I would like to be very proud of my country, my heritage, just like everybody else waving their little flags. Puerto Rico, Argentina, Chile, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, China, Japan, Korea, whatever. But if I wave the German flag, if anybody waves the German flag, it's like, wait a minute, sir. We are going to need to ask you to calm the entire fuck down with that flag in particular. Oh, it's okay, I'm German. No, that makes it fucking worse. No, I can prove it to you. I speak German. Ich liebe Deutschland. Sir, you're about to be arrested for a hate crime. Ich liebe Deutschland. Sir, put your hands behind your back. Right? Because German nationalism German pride other than during the World Cup. That is the only time you're allowed, and the Olympics. That is the only time you're allowed to be German and proud. Ja, die Deutschen haben gewonnen mit ihren Fußball. Fußball. Soccer. And look at that. We share that. Of the two brain cells that I have, I share one with Anna, it seems like. Or both, I don't know. Either which way, now America, a country whose military I served in, whose nation I am trying to lead, whose flag I am trying to represent, and who I advocate for. I advocate for this flag even today. Because the flag is not responsible for the corruption. The corruption is responsible for the corruption, and it's the complacency of the people voting for it that allows the corruption to occur. That flag is not responsible, neither is that flag. But at the rate we're going, it's not going to fucking matter, because the German flag used to have a fucking eagle in it. It don't no mo, because of the obvious reasons. Now, it's just black, red, and gold, and they're like, we're not going to get rid of the flag. We've had this for several thousand years now. Can we just get rid of the birdie? Because we get it. That was a little intense, that little decade or so. That was a little intense. We'll get rid of that little birdie. And it goes without question that we're going to get rid of the swastika because, you know, we appropriated it from Hindus. It's not our culture to begin with, and that was very bad, right? So this flag, though, is very rapidly becoming a symbol of hate. Just like the Israeli flag is very, very, very quickly becoming a symbol of hate. Now, the Israeli flag, it might be irredeemable at this point because they are actively committing genocide. By the same token, America is actively funding and supporting the genocide. To be clear, so is the rest of Europe. But they aren't colluding nearly as heavily as the United States is because we are the only ones going into the United Nations and using our universal veto to stop any accountability towards Israel, right? So we are very quickly losing the battle with this flag. And I would really, really hate to become president of the United States. And one of the first things I have to do, aside of the other first things I have to do, is have a national contest to redo our flag. Now, if it were up to me, there'd be a dragon on it. You know. All of which is to say, like, this is deeply, deeply concerning. Yes, that is what I meant, pop culture. I've rooted for Germany during the World Cup, which is interesting because, you know, if you're Latin American, you should root for Brazil, typically. But Brazil is behind Germany now, emphatically. We got a revenge! 7-1, bitches! Why? It just feels like the reverse Swayzen. Yeah, no, that's kind of the point. Get rid of the bird, right? I mean, our eagle isn't nearly as intimidating, but, you know. Yeah, so anyway, catching up to that. Wow. What was the video before this? Oh, yeah. Oh, shucks. It's really sad when somebody dies during our Nazi death camp raids. Yeah. Federal government leasing Nassau County jail space for ICE detainees. That's just... We have Nazi concentration camps, and we are appropriating our regular prison spaces for it, which are already abusive because we have the largest prison population in the world, regardless. Oh, here we go.
There are two types of people who should avoid taking gas.
What? Border Patrol agent charged with assaulting Long Beach police officer. This should be
for neuropathy. Anyone who wants to keep both legs.
And now a KCAL News desk investigation. An off-duty Border Patrol agent facing some serious charges tonight, accused of brawling with police and pulling a gun inside a local restaurant.
KCAL News assignment editor Mike Rogers is here at the desk now. And Mike, you've been working this story for the last several days and have exclusive details for us now.
Yeah, that's right, Susie and Juan. You know, we've been working this story since we got tipped off about it on Tuesday night. Tonight, we have confirmed that the man taken into custody here at this yard house is a Customs and Border Protection agent. I want you to listen what brought police to this location to begin with.
6 Trapper code 3. It's 417 at the Yard House, 401 Shoreline Village Drive. The suspect showed the CP the black handgun, then put it back into his holster in his pants.
And according to the Los Angeles County DA's office, that encounter happened inside of a women's restroom at the Yard House. Now, the DA's office says that the suspect, who is also a off-duty CBP agent, was intoxicated at the time this all went down. Security asked him to leave because he's not allowed to have a gun. That's when security says he was holding the magazine in his hand with the black handgun still in his waistband. Long Beach police arrived. They say they had to physically fight him to be able to take him into custody, even had to tase him while...
Are we sure this didn't happen in Florida? This every second of the past minute and 12 seconds that I have been listening to this, trying to interject, has been more unhinged than the last. There was no point in which this report about this incident was making any sort of logical progression. I was like, oh, okay, da-da-da-da-da. No, what? No, now they're in the women's restroom? Oh, it's a guy? It's against a girl? Like, what? Oh, he's drunk? Like, this has nothing to do with being on duty. They're at a fucking restaurant? Security's getting involved? There's security at a restaurant? Like, what is even fucking going on? Also, Ruben, that's basically a national holiday in Germany now. That victory and those points is essentially a German national holiday at this point. Anyway, pigs going after each other, as far as I'm concerned, it's a spit roast. So fuck them both.
Diamond Bar mother of 4 and an avid Trump supporter taken into federal custody by immigration authorities. KCAL's Delia Caballero shares why her husband is standing firm in his political beliefs, even as they test his own family's strength.
Thank you.
Hold on. What?
KCAL's Delia Caballero shares why her husband is standing firm in his political beliefs, even as they test his own family's strength.
I'm sorry. Let's say I was a Trump supporter. I'm not. Let's say I was pro-MAGA. I'm obviously not. But let's say I was for a second. Get them fucking immigrants. Get them brownies out of here. I don't want them here. They're illegal. They're raping and plundering and children and all that other shit. ¿Por qué? Papi? Un wife est non gringa. Well, that's all right, honey. You're one of the good ones. I married you. You got me kids, and you give me tax breaks, and you got a fine ass. I tell you what. What? So I'm that guy. And then ICE comes a knocking on my door in the suburbs. Even though I'm in the suburbs, I probably still have guns, and I'm still a psychopathic racist piece of garbage married to a fine piece of Latina. And they come take my wife. Well, I ain't right. Why are you taking my wife for? She's my wife. My property. My wife. And look at that ass. That's my ass. That belongs to me. That's fine Americano. Latin Americano, but Americano belongs to me. And then takes her away. If you don't immediately turn into a raging liberal cuck after that, then you don't care about this woman. Period. If you don't change your beliefs, like, oh, damn, maybe I was on the wrong side of history. My wife got caught up in all this illegal bullshit because she was illegal because we both didn't fucking follow the law. And I just wanted some hot and spicy, ready to go. Maybe I should have figured something else out and maybe been a better person in my life and this shit wouldn't have happened to me. I don't know. Just me personally, if my wife, the mother of my children, got kidnapped by Nazis, that might change my worldviews a bit. I would. Well, if them there cops come into my house, I'm going to gun them down. Well, they fucking did and took your fucking wife. You idiotic hypocrite. You racist garbage. I hope she divorces you, takes your fucking pickup truck, your boat, your guns, and your fucking house, and you have to live under a fucking bridge, and you don't even get a job picking fruit in the 100-degree California fucking weather because of how much of a piece of shit you are. Jesus fucking Christ. It's not even about the vows. Dude clearly does not respect his wife as a human being. I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to watch.
It was a quiet morning in Diamond Bar until federal immigration officers arrived.
They're in the middle of the fucking
Sahakian
suburb.
family's home security cameras capturing the moment their lives forever changed.
That was it.
Thank you.
She came back inside, hugged my kids, kissed me, and she's like, Art, this is the best thing that we could do.
This dude looks like he's fucking Hispanic.
A loving wife, an avid Trump supporter and mother of 4, was taken into custody by ICE on June 30th.
I have 4 kids, 3 dogs. We're just waiting for mom to come home. 2 birds. Our family's devastated. I can't sleep. We can't do anything. We can't eat.
She's lived in the U.S. since she was only 3 years old, coming into the country legally as a refugee. But an old criminal conviction from more than 15 years ago has resurfaced, leading to a final deportation order.
She was 20 years old. Every 20-year-old makes mistakes.
The Department of Homeland Security issued a statement to us calling Masihi a criminal illegal alien, referencing her 2008 burglary conviction and a final removal.
Oh. My apologies. My apologies. Not a fine piece of Latina ass, a fine piece of Persian ass. My bad. My bad. They were doing the belly dance. My bad. Still, are you fucking kidding me? Again, divorce, take the kids, the dogs, the parakeets, everything.
Removal order issued in 2009.
And now I'm coming to learn with our attorneys, she didn't do anything. She was just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Despite the pain, the Sahakians continue to fly their Trump flags outside. Arthur, an outspoken supporter of President Donald Trump, says he still believes in strong border security, even as his family is caught in the middle.
Yes, I support Trump. I believe in Trump. I believe the administration will do the right thing. We had to do what we had to do as a nation to protect us, not only myself, but everyone else in the nation.
Dude, look at his fucking eyes.
We had to do as a nation.
He is scared. He's afraid they're going to come for him next, which they might, regardless. And nothing going on upstairs. It's just fear and emptiness. This motherfucker is a poster child for this deranged cult. You want to talk about Trump derangement syndrome? There it is, folks. Screenshot that and post it everywhere you can. Trump derangement syndrome. An Iranian or Middle Eastern national whose Iranian wife got stolen in broad fucking daylight and still flies the flag. Dude, you're about to be racially profiled because this country is going to eventually fight Iran for some reason. I don't even what do you say to this? Chat. Like, what do you eat? How are you supposed to react to this? How can you not listen to this news story, see the events that transpired, and not just be like, what is your major malfunction? And then how can you still support this administration? Like, again, I might be smarter than the average bear. Okay? I can critically think 7 out of 10 times. I haven't been getting much sleep lately, and I need a lot of coffee to function. So 6 out of 10 times I can critically think. All right? This is an open book test. This is literally what Goebbels and Hitler and the SS and the Gestapo did in Germany to the Jews. All you have to do is replace the term illegal immigrants or illegals, any one of those three, with Juden. That's it. That's the sentence. That is the thing. They came for my Juden wife. It turned out that my Juden wife was determined to be a Juden. My Juden wife did something stupid in her 20s and they took her. They're raiding the Juden fields looking for Juden. This guy was hiring a bunch of Juden to work in the fields, and then they got raided, but the guy who did the hiring didn't. They are searching for Juden in workplaces, factories, warehouses, hotels, landscaping companies. They're just lining up the Juden. They got 200 Juden lined up against the fucking wall, handcuffed. Zeig mir deine Papieren. To me, there is no, like, this isn't a debate. This isn't a discussion. There is no two sides to this. This is just, it is exactly what it looks like. It is exactly what it looks like and what it is. And the fact that so many people are choosing to not see that, see what I did there? Or not agree with it, or to make excuses for it, tells you everything you need to know. About 30% of Germans were good Germans. The rest of them were, openly, or was it a different percentage? I don't remember the total percentage now that I'm thinking about it. Mea culpa. But whatever that percentage is, in America, it is significantly higher. Significantly higher, and we already had a police state to begin with. Absolutely fucking disgusting. Honestly, I'm shocked they haven't started forcing ICE agents to stay in people's homes, or when the Marines were in Los Angeles, that they didn't just try and impose themselves into people's homes. I'm actually shocked that hasn't happened yet. And they're both Iranian. That's... So we're also rehashing the Islamophobia of 9/11. Awesome. That is unfucking hinged shit. Oh!
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman. We begin today's show looking at how the Trump administration's pushing ahead on its aggressive quota of as many as 7,000 daily immigration arrests, up from 3,000.
The quota doubled again? The quota doubled again. Actually, more than doubled. 7,000 innocent people a day? What the fuck?
And Security Secretary Kristi Noem spoke Friday at a news conference in Nashville, Tennessee.
President Trump has been focused ever since he's been in office on making America safe again. And that is what my job is as a secretary.
By terrorizing every Latino community in America?
Is to make sure that we're following through on exactly what he promised to the American people, to make sure that we're going after the worst of the worst every single day.
A 6-year-old child is the worst of the worst? A married mother of 4 is the worst of the worst? Fuck you. Honestly, I want her death and execution needs to be public. It needs to be a public fucking holiday. She is actually more evil than Trump. Not quite as evil as Stephen Miller, but she is definitely more evil than Trump. She sits here every single day and lies to the American people and justifies the horrors and the atrocities and the crimes against humanity. She deserves far more than a quick death.
Get the murderers, the rapists, the child pedophiles, and pornographers off of our streets and out of this country.
You mean like the one that's sitting in the fucking Oval Office?
The worst of the worst But according to figures from ICE itself that were obtained by the Cato Institute, over 93% of immigrants arrested this fiscal year were never convicted of any violent offense. Still, Congress approved some $45 billion to expand ICE's immigration detention capacity, including the jailing of families and children. We begin today's show with the story of one Los Angeles family arrested after they dutifully showed up at their immigration hearing. They were then taken to a family detention center in Dilley, Texas, that Trump reopened. On May 29th, plainclothes ICE agents detained a 6-year-old boy from Honduras who had acute lymphoblastic leukemia, along with a 9-year-old sister and their mother, as they left their immigration court hearing in which their asylum case was dismissed, even though they'd followed every rule of the immigration process. In detention, the boy missed a key doctor's appointment, disrupting his cancer treatment. The family also said his sister cried every night, afraid. As pressure grew over their conditions, the family was released on July 2nd. And
I mean, this kid is probably going to die within the next few days because he is literally not able to get the fucking treatment, because you know they're not going to give him cancer treatment while being detained. I don't think I can watch this. I don't think I can watch this because I'm already angry because of all the other ICE shit we've had to cover today. And it's only 1 hour into the stream. But this just takes the fucking cake. Like this administration is the bad guys. Like there are no redeeming qualities. And I get it. You might have friends, coworkers, family, parents, siblings that you are trying to maintain a relationship with, because outside of politics, everything else is fine. And outside of, I mean, I don't know, the degrees of politics, right? Because, I mean, I have 100% cut off family members. You try and avoid certain topics because you, A, don't want to know where they stand on those issues, or you're afraid it's gonna devolve, right? I get that because I struggle with that myself. But there is no redeemable qualities. I don't give a shit if this administration cures cancer tomorrow. If they're still doing this, they are the fucking devil. Hitler created the Autobahn and the Volkswagen and everything else under the sun that promoted social welfare in Germany. He was still one of the most evil bastards in human history and deserves to rot in hell, either Little Nicky style or worse. So no, whatever good this administration has done, which I can't think of anything this administration has done that has benefited the common citizen in the slightest. I can't think of one thing. I legitimately cannot think of a single thing this administration has done. Maybe you guys can chime in, but I cannot think of anything that this administration has done that is beneficial. And we continue to do worse and worse and worse. I cannot wait to be in the House of Representatives and to then make my way into the Oval Office, because the day I get to sentence that motherfucker to death, I will carry it out my fucking self. That is beyond a shadow of a doubt. Oh, and now we're bringing back segregation. Outstanding. Why not? We got Nazi Germany. May as well take it even further back to pre-Civil War era. Let's go.
Looking at Tom's piece there, talking to him here, just throughout the piece, you could really hear them trying to justify what they were doing, talking about the fact that they're trying to preserve their culture and not trying to harm anyone else. And why shouldn't they have a whites-only community?
Well, first of all, let me say Tom did a wonderful job of getting them to talk and talk honestly about their beliefs. I mean, the fact of the matter is this is just bald-faced white supremacy. I don't care if you dress it up as what's wrong with us having our own